baby bus!
Let's go, Sheriff Labrador!
Theft on the Orient Cruise Ship, Part 2. In the evening, on the deck of the Orient, the gala dinner began. On the table, a smorgasbord of delicacies. Cakes, salads, sweets made everyone's mouth water. All the animals were enjoying a delicious meal. Only Madame Grizz sat listlessly beside them, sighing at the thought of her missing gold bracelet.
Oh, my bracelet! Oh!
Don't worry, Madame Grizz. There's no case that I can't solve. I'm gonna get your gold bracelet back for you.
While Sheriff Labrador was comforting Madame Grizz, Miss Squirrel came over with some juice.
Cheer up, Madame Grizz. Would you like some juice?
Thank you, Miss Squirrel.
Madame Grizz nodded gratefully at Miss Squirrel. Sheriff Labrador looked around and saw that each of the servers had a beautiful garland on their head.
Miss Squirrel, the garlands on your heads look so lovely.
Oh, we made them all ourselves. Thank you for the compliment. Please enjoy yourselves.
Ms. Squirrel responded with an unnatural smile and was ready to turn away. At that very moment, a sudden gust from a sea breeze blew by, and the servers unconsciously reached for the garlands on their heads to prevent them from blowing away. Ms. Squirrel, however, was the only one who didn't reach for the garland, as if she wasn't worried about it blowing away.
Huh? Miss Squirrel, aren't you worried about the wind blowing your garland away?
Well, I have a big head, so the garland is kind of stuck to my head and won't come off easily.
Really?
Sheriff Labrador's dark round eyes moved back and forth in thought.
Excuse me, Miss Squirrel. Could you please give me a piece of cake? I'd like some fruitcake.
Oh, no problem, Sheriff Labrador.
Ms. Squirrel turned and walked away, and as the sea breeze grew more and more intense, Sheriff Labrador looked on in thought, wondering why, in such a strong wind, Ms. Squirrel's garland was still resting firmly on her head, while everyone else's was blown askew.
Here's your cake, Sheriff Labrador.
Ms. Squirrel served the cake. As Sheriff Labrador took the cake, his hands shook deliberately, causing the cream on the cake to shoot off and land on Miss Squirrel's garland.
Oops, I'm sorry. Let me take the garland off and clean it for you.
Oh, hold on!
Before Ms. Squirrel realized it, Sheriff Labrador had taken the garland from her head. As soon as Sheriff Labrador had the garland, his dark, round eyes began to glisten. Sheriff Labrador felt that the garland was heavy, so he pushed back the artificial flowers on the garland and saw a golden glow coming from behind them.
Oh, gosh!
My guess was correct. Miss Squirrel, you're the thief. It was you who stole the gold bracelet.
Sheriff Labrador tore off the tangled coils of fake vines, and hidden inside the garland was the stolen gold bracelet. Sheriff Labrador held up the gold bracelet.
Oh, it's my precious bracelet! Why is it here?
Miss Squirrel, under the guise of your position as a waitress, you used the spare key to Madame Grizz's room to sneak into Madame Grizz's room while she was taking a bath and stole the bracelet.
You?
To cover up your crime, you wrapped vines around the bracelet and disguised it as a garland. Moreover, you planted a strand of Red Fox's fur in Madame Grizz's room as evidence to incriminate Red Fox. Usually, it is easy for garlands to fly off of one's head while the wind blows. But when the sea breeze blew by, you appeared to be unconcerned about it. That was very odd.
You silly sheriff! If the wind hadn't blown, I would have gotten away with it!
Oh! I can't believe it! You're a thief!
Captain Duck came running over angrily. As Sheriff Labrador and Captain Duck both tried to grab hold of her, Miss Squirrel scurried across the deck.
I'm out of here! Catch me if you can!
Miss Squirrel climbed over the railing and tried to jump into the lifeboat, but she slipped and fell straight over the ship. Luckily, her dress got caught on the railing, so she didn't fall into the sea. She hung there, suspended in midair, struggling in fright.
Help! Help me! Ah!
Together, Captain Duck and Sheriff Labrador pulled Miss Squirrel to safety. After being rescued, Miss Squirrel's legs felt weak, and she plopped down on the deck.
Oh God! I almost fell into the sea! Oh, I'll never be a jewel thief again!
Not only that, you should pay attention to safety. When taking large passenger ships or sightseeing cruises, we should never lean on the railings or climb over them. If you fall into the sea, the consequences could be disastrous. You're suspected of theft. When the cruise ship docks, you should come to the police station with me.
Mini episode on safety. Woof!
Mitch Monkey, try and catch me! Happy Bunny! It's not safe to chase each other on a cruise ship! If you're not careful, you might fall into the water! And that would be awful!
Yep, Mitch Monkey's right. Time to learn safety with Sheriff Labrador. When taking large passenger ships or sightseeing cruises, we should never lean on the railings or climb over them. Otherwise, we might accidentally fall into the water, and that could cost you your life.